Life expectancy dropped in the U.S. at a rate that hasn't been seen since World War II. But why? It can't just be pinned on COVID alone. It certainly made things worse, but there were issues brewing for decades before. Here's a part of Anusha Roy's conversation with a CU Boulder professor who helped with this research.
For all the uncertainty COVID unleashed on us,
sort of saw this coming.
Researchers, including Associate Professor Ryan Masters, did foresee that this would have a devastating impact on life expectancy.
The United States lost nearly 2 years of its life expectancy. We have not seen a decline of that size since World War II.
Compare that to 16 other high-income countries.
On average, they lost life expectancy, but it was less than half a year.
And other countries ravaged by COVID.
Italy, for example, was devastated, unfortunately, and Belgium experienced over a whole year of life expectancy loss. The United States was still a vast outlier.
To understand what happened requires going back to how long people were living in the 80s.
It was just increasing at a slower rate compared to peer countries.
Then in 2010, life expectancy in the U.S. essentially flatlined. One reason was the opioid crisis. Also, over the years, the U.S. was good at saving older adults, but heart disease, stroke, and diabetes started eroding that, which put the country in a vulnerable position when COVID first arrived.
Despite what the global preparedness of emergencies had deemed the United States to be the #1 most prepared for a global pandemic of this sort, those of us who have been following mortality trends in the United States, I think, knew all too well that the devastating loss of life would fall predictably along these race ethnic lines.
The drop in life expectancy was even bigger within minority communities, slipping anywhere from 3 to 4 years.
It just devastated us and revealed our sort of weakest links.
Masters is talking about systemic racism, social and economic inequities, and healthcare barriers. And while other countries saw most people who died from COVID were older, the U.S. saw many people younger than 65 pass away.
Left those populations vulnerable.
So you end up layering all of these issues of chronic disease, opioid addiction that was already an issue before COVID, and then the virus showed up and more people had comorbidities, plus those inequalities when it comes to talking about health care, living in multi-generational households that put people more at a risk for COVID. We already saw that right over the last year play out with who we were seeing falling sick at higher rates. All of that has now added into this life expectancy research as well, setting the U.S. apart from so many other countries.
And we've seen so much change even since then. Now with vaccines, caseloads going down with COVID-19, how does that impact us?
Right. So life expectancy, and this was an important distinction the professor made, it's really just a snapshot of what happened in 2020 and 2021. It's not necessarily forecasting what our life expectancy is going to be in the future, which means that it can change. So if you are surviving COVID at higher rates, if we have lower case rates, if we have more vaccines, he said all of that can play in, and then we can see those numbers start to change.
It's amazing when you step back and think about the year that we all just experienced and just how much we all experienced.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anusha Roy, thank you.